We're beginning to see the sun break through this fog. Hopefully you can, hopefully this is I don't know how clear you can see this or not, but it's coming off the lake now. The fog's coming off the lake, and it's really quite beautiful. This is the Backyard Professor videos. I'm Kerry Schertz, the Backyard Professor. I'm out here in my backyard up in Mother Nature. Beautiful spot. Wonderful time to study the scriptures with you. I'm discussing the various evidences for the Book of Mormon because the argument's been presented that it has nothing and that it's getting weaker and weaker and weaker. That argument is patently false. Again, consider more evidence from Diane Worth, Decoding Ancient America, A Guide to the Archaeology of the Book of Mormon. Brand new book out, 2007. She's discussing the idea of bearded figurines. Now this is interesting because there are hundreds of Mesoamerican sculptures of people. And if the Indians can only grow a few facial hairs, and they actually plucked them to boot, besides just growing beards, they couldn't grow beards, yet we have many hundreds of sculptures showing bearded figures in Mesoamerica. Apparently there were many, many types of people inhabiting Mesoamerica anciently. All of the archaeologists are pretty much in agreement with that now. There's Zapotecs and Olmecs and Maya and Aztecs and all kinds of different cultures. These beards present quite a puzzle to the scholars and archaeologists. As we put the pieces together, though, it makes more sense, especially when we consider the Book of Mormon and where the people lived before the Near East. There apparently are many races in, and she shows several of the sculptures and various different types of facial features with their eyes and the shapes of their heads and so on and so forth. Different races are depicted in the art of ancient Mesoamerica. One of the most remarkable things about the Book of Mormon, this is fascinating. John Welch recognized this years ago. Diane Worth is picking up the theme here. Nephi mentioned the first divisions of those who came with Lehi into the New World. This division was recorded again in 543 BC. There are 7 tribes mentioned in the Book of Mormon. Now the people which were not Lamanites were Nephites. Nevertheless, they were called Nephites, Jacobites, Josephites, Zoramites, Lamanites, Lemuelites, and Ishmaelites. This is in Jacob 1:13, verse 13. Almost 700 years later, approximately at AD 231, 4th Nephi 1:37-38 mentions these same 7 tribes again. It's an enduring legacy. The tribes are last referred to in Mormon 1 verse 8 at AD 322. This idea, the significance of the tribes, was not over after the Nephites disappeared, however. In Mesoamerica, there is a great tradition of the people's ancestors originally coming from 7 tribes. We need to understand what caves meant to Mesoamericans. The caves are damp and they can give shelter, especially in the rainforests of Central America. The legends depicted in Mesoamerican art show that 7 tribes came from 7 caves. Sahagún, the early Spanish friar, mentioned that the Indians believed that these caves referred to ships, and they came across the water in these ships. This is on page 17 of Diane Worth's book. There are many examples of these in the art, she says. The 7 tribes in 7 caves may be seen in the Codex Duran. These caves, each with people inside, are easy to see, and she shows an illustration. Hopefully you can see this. I don't know if it's light enough or not. Probably not. There's the 7 caves. Each one of the flower petals represents one cave. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there's 7 of them. This was a prominent legend of the ancient Mesoamericans, that they came from 7 tribes in 7 caves, and those caves represented ships. Now that's certainly a Book of Mormon theme. It is a specific detail in the Book of Mormon. It is a specific detail in Mesoamerica. Is that in view of the Hebrews? Not that I'm aware of. Is it in the Solomon Spaulding manuscript? Is it in any book in 19th century New York, upstate New York, where Joseph Smith lived? It's not a 19th century idea. It's an ancient Mesoamerican idea, and without question, it is a Book of Mormon idea, mentioned throughout the record, throughout the long 1,000-year history of the record keeping several times. This yet again demonstrates, in my personal thinking, that this argument that there is nothing in favor of the Book of Mormon, that we don't have any real Mesoamerican parallels, that we're all just at zero, that argument is simply false.